Hi viewers, welcome to another episode of your Daily Rant. Thank you very much. Thank you. Now, first of all, like I always do, thank you to all the subscribers. I do appreciate it. And I want to say mucho gracias, muchos. You get the drill. Thank you. Let's keep adding up. Let's get to 1 billion followers, if it's even possible. But if you don't know who I am, I'm what you call the Decipher. All right. I look between the bullshit and I give you the things that you think in your head but you don't want to accept. Now, today's conversation is one of those things that I think is quite very important. Now, I want to address this. The conversation I'm about to have, it's not about trying to paint one part of this world that they're bad or this other part that they're worst. That's not the whole premises of the conversation is about. This is just to show you from the perspective of the world that we live in today and the consequences of the actions that come with us ignoring or avoiding some certain things. Because over time, they all compound. They become a bigger, much more significant problems that we all deal with. And this is why I want us to have this conversation. I want to say again one more time. I'm not attacking anyone. This is not to throw a divide. This is based on observation on where I live and the surroundings. All right. So I don't want you to feel triggered by highlighting these differences. And this is not outtaken one more time because people have selective hearing. People get very, very emotional and they lose their head when you have this sort of conversation. Because I'm not here to kiss your ass. I'm here to tell you, to give you that cocaine truth. And it's going to be that like that. So, I hope I'm really clear. I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to tell you that you're not a good parent or you're a bad parent. Don't get triggered because I'm going to trigger you. Now, let's move on. So, the question number one that we need to genuinely ask, how is parenting going in 2026? Okay? How are you a parent? Are you a good parent? Do you think you are a good parent? Mom, Pa, get yourself here. I won't disrespect you just yet. Do you think you're a good parent? Do you think you've created an environment whereby you can say when you get out of the house, you can trust your kids to behave themselves? I mean, every one of us, we are a kid to somebody. I'm a kid to my own parent. Even you're 100 years old. You're still a kid to somebody. Maybe the people have gone, but you are still alive. So, how were you raised? How was I raised? Okay? And I know we live in a world whereby there is no more decency. There is no more morality. We all crash and burn online, complain. Oh, the kids is shit. Oh, that's a horrible person. Everything has a foundation. Like I've said for the 5 billion times. Everything in this life has foundation. So I'm going to ask you, Pa, Ma, are you a good parent? Did you think you raised good kids? Okay? One of the things I'm going to highlight today, I'm going to speak from the perspective of where I come from. All right? It's not, I'll say again one more time, it's not to judge, it's not to point fingers, it's not to say one is better than the other or not. All right? Because these things need to be addressed. We need to talk about these things so that hopefully the next generation can see that some people actually give a shit enough. Because one of the things that the feedback that I get from this generation of guys is that they're not very happy. They're not very happy. They feel like, nobody really gives a shit about them. They just throw them under the wolves. And which is not right. So this is why this conversation, I think it's quite very important for us to have it and share this perspective. The kids are struggling. They're really, really struggling. And it starts from you, parents. You, parents, it starts with you. I'm going to talk specifically on what is going on here in Australia. And I'll show you some things. I don't want to deep dive into it because it's a very, very sensitive conversation that we can have, but we're not supposed to have. Okay? So parents, I want to address you first because you guys are the foundation. Because when you were, nobody was there. You were flipping out like a Burger King. You were giving 68, 69. You were bending out over you. And you too, you were lollipopping. You were doing a lot of lollipop. The consequence of your lollipop is causing havoc in the society. All right, so don't bullshit away from it. Let's face it in the head. Let's deal with it. Let's spoke about it. Now, give you my perspective. And I say again one more time, I'm not judging you as a parent to say that you're a bad parent. All right, don't twist my words and don't make me sound like I'm some evil genius. All right, just give me a second. Where were we? Aha, good, bam. Now, I want to show you the difference between how I was raised, okay, and how most people were raised. I'll say again, it's not to show that you're a bad parent. DJ, drop the track. Now, if you look at this image right here, something is about to transpire. Some of you might have seen this video before. Some of you, you've never seen it before. But I think it's quite important for me to give you this perspective first. I want to show you how I was raised. I want to show you how other kids were raised. And you see the dynamic.
So help me God. Don't you dare. Amelia, all because of reality redux. All because of This is it. This is it. I mean it. All because of reality redux. Because it's Stormy knows best, not Amelia. Okay, please. Okay, Amelia. Oh my God. Eric! Can I please pick it up? All right. Oh. Dude, it's pointless. It's ruined. You know that, right?
African parents. If it is African parents, just watch. Emilia, nice work. Clap for yourself. So between this, the Senate, and this, choose one. Choose one. Or between this also, the three, choose one. Trust me, if this is African parents, Emilia won't get away with this. Yes, Emilia will be treated right. Yes, they're gonna whoop your ass. For real, African parents, you're gonna whoop your ass. In fact, this is too small. I think this is too small too. But this, they're gonna use it to whoop your ass. Trust me, African parents don't joke with this. Yeah.
So the first video there is the one that you see Amelia is misbehaving. She threw out, iPad. She threw it on the floor and she was stepping on it because Mama didn't want to do something or didn't want to give her something. And this is the thing that I saw here. Now, I'm not painting everyone as, every other culture is bad, because I know some of my Croat friend or the Eastern European, they don't play like, they're very similar to African parents. They're very, very similar. Or Italians. You understand? That's how I grew up. But let me show you another version of what the sort of parenting that we have in this world today. All right? Watch.
Hello? Don't give me unnecessary headache. Unless I will get you inside my nose for 2 minutes. Believe what I say. If I hear anything.
And that is how. Even Mama is right there. Mama is taking it easy with you. I'll play a lot of series of the videos, so I don't want to hold us too much, but to show you the differences. Now, this one I'm about to show you right now, trigger warning, because we have a lot of soft tissues people in the world today. Very, very sensitive. Don't touch my kids. Oh, don't touch my kids. Oh, this is a father. This is what I call, I'll give you the definition what I call this, because this is what many of us growing up, this is what we understand. Watch.
African men train their kids towards discipline.
Tama. Consent Dubuchi. Again. Dubuchi. And stop shouting. Stop shouting.
Africans, Africanist. Who Africa? That Africa that it is within us. towards discipline. I love the way Africans' mothers, African dads normally teach their kids towards discipline. Discipline is key. My friend, the way that man is trying to teach these kids discipline, but even though we are married with a white person, even though we have that pointy, but you must have that discipline, my friend. Discipline, my friend, you must have. It is not a request. It is a command. It is a you must have that discipline towards risk. I love Africans. Africans, the way you teach your kids. Africans, the way you shikarabasata.
And that is another perspective. Remember for the first video of I think her name was Delia or something like that. She was crashing out, destroying her iPad. Ooh, I'm gonna share some story with you guys, really, and you guys will be I'll expose myself a little bit, and I have family members who can confirm it. You understand? The way I was being raised, that was standard. That was like the best you can hope for, that you get in a house whooping on your hand. That's nothing. Nothing. And I'll tell you the consequences of those behaviors. And I'll tell you from the perspective of the things that we hear constantly on social media. But I want to play this video for you. I want you to sit down and enjoy it. Now, I'm sure some of you have seen this old video from Benny Mac. Watch.
Oh, sweetie, we already have cereal.
Not this kind.
Okay, well, we don't need this.
But I want it.
Don't send it back to your Aunt Wanda. You put the cereal back where you found it. You get your punk ass up.
Let me explain.
And that is it. There is no soft tissue shit. We are not parenting you. No, we're instructing you. Do that shit. Alright? You don't do it, it has consequences. Let's move on. That, you see, if you don't do it, it has consequences. Right there, you will know right from the beginning. You don't act right, there is consequences with you not acting right. There is no ifs or buts about it. Yeah, you can call it authoritarian regime. Whatever.
Something about how Kenyan kids were raised that Americans will never fully understand. When grown-ups were talking, you didn't exist. You could be standing right there. You could have information that they needed. It didn't matter. You were furniture. You were a lamp. You were part of the wall. In America, kids jump into adult conversation like they're on a debate team. Not in Kenya. A Kenyan child would never. You just waited, you listened, you sat there, you stored the information, and then maybe when the adults left the room, if the energy was right, you said something quietly. People think Kenyans are reserved. We're not reserved. We're just still waiting for the adults to finish talking. And honestly, that's why we read rooms so well. That's why we observe before we act. We didn't get therapy. We got trained. Tag a Kenyan kid who perfected the art of being invisible in a room full of adults.
Let me tell you something. That is not just Kenyan. That is not a Kenyan thing. That is an African thing. Where I come from, when elders are talking, if they're one day older than you, you shut up. There is no ifs or buts about it. When elders are talking, you don't even sneeze. You close your mouth. Why? Now, I know in this stupid generation that we are, there is one word that they always use, and that word used to finger my brain a lot. And I don't like to be fingered in the brain. All right? I don't like to be fingered in the brain. There is one word they use today. I hear quite often. That is trauma. I'm not ready to crash out just yet. But let's move on. Now, what he said, doesn't just apply to Kenya alone. That is across Africa. You learn to shut up. When elders are talking, you shut up. You poof.
Spank, they beat.
What's the difference?
Timing. If you're waiting for your kid to step out of a bath before you beat them, that's not a spanking, that's a beating. If it's longer than 2 minutes, that's a beating.
Now, yes, in Africa, there is no, man. Now, I'm going to say something that might be oxymoronic to a lot of people. They think, yo, Decipher, why are you encouraging this behavior? And I'll tell you why. I will tell you why it's a behavior that we need to bring back. Yes. We need to bring it back. Ass whooping is necessary. Okay? Ass whooping is necessary to bring back. Now, let's fall down to the consequences of you not getting your ass whooped when you're still a toddler. When you don't know how to shut the bleep up, when you don't know how to be quiet enough, when you don't have the skills, when you didn't develop the skills right from the beginning for you to shut up when elders are talking, for you to assess the room, for you to know when you should talk, for you to learn how to mind your behavior, mind yourself. If you're not requested into something, you shut up. It's nothing to do with you. If you really don't know how to develop it, if you can't develop those skills right from when you're little, you think when you're 18, 17, then you know when you go some places, just shut up. Observe. People don't have those skills. This is how you develop those skills back then. Okay? It's called attitude adjustment. Listen, an African parent, they will give you that look like this. The look alone will make you melt like ice cream. Just the look alone. Some African mothers, if they give you that cross-eye bombastic, good Lord have mercy. Oh, shit. If African mom give you that side high, it's like you want to disappear into the wall. And I'll tell you one of those things that we have in my culture. I call it the complete attitude adjustment. I'll find a video for it right now, and I'll show you guys. You see, it's called Abara. Abara 101. Okay? If mom put Abara on your back, I'll show you what Abara looks like. Okay? You will run. You will come back. You will sit. You will stand. You will try to touch your back. You'll be dancing Michael Jackson while you're standing up. If Abara will reset your medulla oblongata, boom. Ooh, shit. Oh, you see, it will take you about 25-30 seconds before you will run faster than Usain Bolt. You will run. Ooh, you come back, you trying to touch it, you bend, you go to the wall, you do like, man, Abara will reset you. They tell you to sit down. Oh, you will be well behaved. In my culture, listen, when we go out, before you go out, they'll tell you, wherever we're going, don't take food from anyone. You say your throat is really big and you want to be a stubborn child. Then they go there. They ask you, do you want some food? Yeah. They'll give you that look. You didn't catch up. Okay, you eat. I'm telling you, by the time you get out of that place, you will vomit that food. Yeah, in the Western society, you guys call, oh, that's so traumatic. That is such a very horrible experience to put on your kids. And I can't really believe that you're just abusing your kids. The word they use is abuse. And ladies and gentlemen, let me show you some of the consequences of those abuses, because it's now part of the things that every part of this world, I'm talking about the Western society to say per se, they always use this, they always use it to try to get data. There's a data to show that the crime rate in youth is going down or is going up. Let me show you this one. Watch.
Australia in a youth crime crisis? No. Youth crime offending is actually down by 28% over the last decade. 28%. It's purely emotionally driven rhetoric that preys on fear. Have a look at the massive decline in the states over the periods. Look at Queensland's decline. And Christopher Fully wants you to think there's a crisis when we've got this kind of decline. Your politicians are lying to you. They are treating you as if you were too stupid to figure this out and find the information. You should be offended by that. You shouldn't be voting for them based on the fact they think you're stupid and that they're relying on fear tactics rather than facts. And you should be having an issue with what they're doing here. What is currently happening in the youth justice space in Australia right now, particularly in places like Queensland, have been shown to be a violation of human rights, of the rights of a child. If you genuinely cared about what it means to be Australian, you would care that there is a violation of human rights happening here. You would not be supporting children as young as 10 being in detention. You would not support them having ankle monitors when the reality is this is not a crime crisis when we have a domestic violence epidemic on our hands in this nation. If you actually cared about the well-being of our population, you would care a lot more about the actual crime epidemics rather than this manufactured bullshit that's targeting the most vulnerable kind of people in our society, which is children.
Now, for those who are watching this from any other part of the world, or those who are going to watch this later, is that I think for the last couple of years, there's been an influx of youth violence in Australia here. And the UK is the same thing. I'm sure in America, they're having the same sort of situation, really. And there's a lot of conversation along the line that the particular group of ethnicity that get targeted quite often. In Australia, yeah, it's get pushed again to the black community, most especially the South Sudanese community, which is a whole lot of bullshit. A whole lot of bullshit. But hey, if you live here, you will really understand how the thing works here. You understand? There's always a scapegoat. And anything that is black is bad. That is what the media has put out there. Even though we're only, the youth crime in this country, from the perspective of the youth, they're only 2.something% of the youth crime. The rest is every other places. But the media is not going to show you that. They were going to say, South Sudanese, yeah, the only gang, yeah. That's what you're going to see. But, like everything, like I said at the start of this live stream, I said everything has an origin. Okay? Origin. So this is why I put that question in the comment section. Are you a good parent? Do you think you are a good parent? All right. Now, let me give you another perspective, because I like to get both spectrum of situation. Then you can make an informed decision. Don't follow me. Don't listen to me at all. But listen to the data. DJ, drop the track.
Clear. These youth offenders are acting like they have immunity because the Allen Labor government have given them immunity. You might have heard that there's a crime crisis here in Victoria. Unfortunately, it's true. We've just recorded the highest number of criminal offences in a year since records began. But here's the part that no one's talking about. The Victoria's crime crisis is being driven by the same group of offenders. Repeat offenders out on bail. There's a group of 1,100 of them who are responsible for 62% of robberies in Victoria, for nearly 50% of aggravated burglaries in Victoria, and a quarter of car thefts. You might think this is not a political issue, but it actually is. Jacinta Allen and her government last year in March weakened the bail laws to make it easier for offenders to get out on bail, even if they've committed an offence before. These youth offenders are acting like they have immunity because the Allen Labor government have given them immunity. They weaken the bail laws and they give them free pass after free pass, bail upon bail upon bail. And that is why we've said as Liberals that we'll bring in break bail, face jail. We've said we'll bring in Jack's Law, and we're going to keep our community safe.
I'm not yet to let me move this thing out of my, let me move this out of my screen for a second, because I don't want to look like I'm promoting any politician. You understand? I don't want to look like I'm promoting it. Oh yeah, move, sharp. Let me move it. All right. I don't look like I'm promoting any politician, because the thing is that now in Australia now they've passed a law that you do the crime, you do adult time. Yeah. There's a lot of states now they've passed it. You do the crime here, no matter how old you are as a kid. Yeah. You do some crime right now, they're gonna persecute you like an adult. Yeah. So parents, this is why I'm asking this question. Because we can say a lot we want to say about, no, the society. Yeah, right, the society. We can talk how much you want to say about the society. Where does the society start from? It starts from when you and your husband or your boyfriend or your side mate, when you are. That is where the society started from. Okay? Yeah. That is where the society starts from. When you are flipping, when you're taking it on the doggy style, that is when the society starts from. All right? Society starts from there. When you're cultivating, when you're doing this on the dance floor, yeah, baby. Oh, it's good. That is where the society starts from. Yeah, the society is bad. The other kids, no, use your responsibility. Use. Okay? Because I hear this a lot. Society starts with you. What kind of individual are you? Because when you're taking those back shots, or when she's giving lollipop, you weren't thinking about anything else then. Were you thinking about what kind of person you are that you're supposed to raise another kid? Or you create calamity for us, then everybody will start using their own strengths and energy to come and raise your kids for you. Huh? We're going to get there. We're getting closer. I want this lady to explain something from our perspective. And I want us to hear out before I descend on parents and the sons and the daughters. Watch.
And I would liken this to parental dynamics where there's a child that's only rewarded when they achieve highly, in comparison to the child that is loved regardless of whether they do good or bad. And in this case, the high achieving child is the black kid that gets praised. Only when you do well, we'll clap. But other than that, we don't claim you as our own. And the white kids that no matter what they do, good or bad, hey, they're Australian regardless, you know. Whether it be past or at present, there are many narratives in the media that fuel a concept that youth crime is a black problem when statistics say otherwise. And I personally propose that youth crime is not a black problem. It is not a South Sudanese problem. It is not an Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander problem. It is an Australian problem. There are complex factors that explain why kids engage in anti-social behaviors and juvenile delinquency. There are many criminological lenses to view this through as to why youth crime exists at an individual, community, and at a societal level. This can range from one's personal upbringing with familial dynamics that was full of, domestic violence, sexual abuse, substance abuse, being isolated from friends and family, bullying. There are many reasons that explain why youth choose to offend. So when we say that youth crime is a black problem, it takes away the fact that all youth crime, generally speaking, is a product of complex factors. It's the product of these things at an individual, community, and a social level. And for black children, it's the added layer of intergenerational trauma. I've seen many times when the Australian media will portray the white man that commits a crime as the mentally ill individual deserving of empathy and deserving of grace to grow from their mistakes. So why is this grace not afforded to black children as well? Why is this grace not afforded to the black child that commits a crime? Could it be insane to imagine that black children that commit crime also have complex contributing things, such as mental health issues, substance abuse, familial dynamics that are complex, and that these are also deserving of genuine attention? Could that be so insane to say? Why does this double standard exist, friends? As I've said in many of my videos, it is simply racism. Racism justifies why we ignore the complex of nature of youth crime and write it off as a black problem. Racism justifies why we see divisive narratives that ignore the fact that the 1% are not the 99%. And racism is why we won't address this as a systemic problem. It's easier to just say it's the black kids. Youth crime requires a public response that holds institutions accountable, schools, courts, hospitals, etc. Holds institutions accountable and implements things that allows us to facilitate environments that actually address the underlying problem of youth offending, as well as understanding black children requires implementation of cultural awareness training for anyone that is interacting with black youth, from schools to police to just community members, seeking to understand the black child rather than dismissing them. As we have sought to understand the mentally ill white man instead of dismissing them when the media presents that to us. Like I said before, it is a bandage on a bullet wound when you call youth crime a black problem. It is an Australian problem that requires a uniform response. I propose collective responsibility as a society. We need to perform surgery, remove the bullet, and close the wound to see actual healing. The bullet being the complex factors that contribute to why crime exists, and recognizing the impacts of intergenerational traumas, seeking to dismantle systemic barriers, seeking to support the struggling black child with their mental health and substance abuse issues, and seeking to address why this problem actually exists instead of band-aiding it, white folks, and writing it off as a black problem. A band-aid won't fix a bullet wound. It won't last. It's a temporary fix. As a matter of fact, it ignores the actual problem that is in front of you. We, as a society, I believe, as an Australian society, need to continue to have this conversation. And I genuinely put forth that once white folk begin to take collective responsibility for our youth, black, white, brown, any color, and begin to stop ignoring youth crime and dismissing it in the name of it's a black problem, and addressing the systemic barriers, addressing the racism, we might see a change. Thank you.
Nobody wants to talk.
All right. I have a lot to say on what she said. There's some things that she said that I agree with, and there's some things she said I don't agree with it at all. And I give my perspective when all these videos are finished. So I need you to stay tuned because it's going to be hot. Because I'm going to go a different angle that most people don't even think I'm really going to go into. But I just want to give a perspective of what's going on. All right? Let's continue.
About it, but the way that our South Sudanese community has become so desensitized to all of the stuff that are going on with our youth crime at the moment is absolutely heartbreaking. We as a community are so numb to all the violence and the reoccurrence of death within our community that people have become very complacent, and I've literally just stopped talking and speaking up about the issues that are going on in our community. I don't shy away from speaking about the tragedies that are going on because, one, I care so much about what's going on within our community, and this generational trauma that we carry is something that, in order for it to be eradicated, needs to be vocalized, and people need to come up and speak about these issues that are going on. As well as the fact that I have nieces and nephews, friends, family, and young people that I work with directly that I'm fearful for their lives every single day. I can't imagine being a parent or being a guardian and thinking about the fact that if my child walks through these doors, I don't know if they're going to come back. Or I don't know if I'm going to get a knock at the door from the police telling me that something tragic has happened to them. We know that the freaking Australian government right now, or the Victorian government, has brought out this whole machete ban and has put out these bins at police stations. But what people don't understand is that, one, these bins are quite expensive. Actually, not quite expensive. They are incredibly expensive. And they're not really doing anything in terms of getting rid of the machete attacks that have been going on, because, one, the people that they want to come forward to dropping off the machetes into these bins are not doing so. I can't stress enough how important it is and how powerful coming together as a collective can change and contribute to community.
So before I play this last video, thank you for that lady for explaining that, because I've happened to be the bad guy within the African community, especially on TikTok, because when I have this sort of conversation, they think I'm just trying to criticize or anything like that. But because a lot of people have a lot of selective hearing, they only listen to respond. They don't listen to comprehend what I'm saying. Because the thing is that when the South Sudanese community is suffering, I am suffering too. Because it's not like they're going to say South Sudanese, then another country. No, they're going to say South Sudanese represent all Africans as community, and that's what they're going to say, and which is not true. And another thing again that I know for a fact, because I've tried to have this conversation a lot of time with a lot of people, they don't like it because it's very it's like you're needling someone that is already bleeding. And I get it, I understand. But if there's gonna be any sort of solution, we can't shy away from what needs to be addressed. That's just the gospel truth. We cannot shy away for what needs to be addressed. And I'll get on that in a second. But lastly, let me give this man has a lot of wisdom in his thought. And he says something that I think is way more profound. And for me, this is what I think should be the solution. And it's a very cryptic thing. If you know about Africans, that there's some things we don't want to pass on knowledge. We don't tell you to 1 + 1. No, we'll give you a formula. We'll let you to decipher the formula yourself. Then it will make more sense. Then you can have your own answer. So sometimes in most African culture, we don't want to spoon feed you the information. We will tell you things in a cryptic way for you to try and figure it out yourself. Then you're self-taught. But listen.
The children properly. Before they can find a woman, let them find land. And until land is pregnant, you will bear children to poverty.
Yeah, that's very profound. Now, I'm going to address this one after the other. Okay? Now, this is going to hit you like a brick. A lot of people might get very sensitive to what I'm going to say. If you're sensitive towards this, that's completely fine. And I get it. I say again one more time, this is not to point fingers at you. This is not to tell you that you're not a good parent. But let me peel this layer by layer. I'm in that professor mood today. And I think this really needs to be addressed, needs to be spoken about. First of all, before I say this, I am the Decipher, all right? I straight to the bullshit and I give you exactly what it is from my perspective. You don't have to listen. You don't have to agree with me. But I like you to listen and compare information. I don't do research. I observe. All right. If that's the case, let's move on. That's number one. Number two. This is where it's going to get crazy. Number one, do we have a youth crisis basically almost anywhere in the world? Yes, we do. And who is to be blamed? Number one is the parents. Like I said before, you see, a lot of problems starts in this world because we don't want to face the fact. The problem starts with who you lay with, number one. If you pick the wrong person to have a kid with, you're going to have a degenerate kid, no matter how hard you try. Even sometimes when you pick the right person, it still doesn't work. But it's how we choose each other, number one. Because we're all those kids responsible for us, not to just lay down, have some babies, but there's no adults to really, really look after the babies. Because everybody is busy passing on the responsibility. Oh, it's not my fault. Yeah, it's your fault. Oh, he's going to leave you. Oh, dad's going to leave you. That's what we really care about. That's number one. Now, number two. Okay. The data shows that we have a problem. Is it a manufactured problem? Is it a problem that is based on some wrong statistics? But what do you think? We live in an environment whereby it's so very easy for you to find something, to attach to something, then you pass it to one law, then some people will make money out of it. It's just part of how the system has been structured. The more chaos we have, the more degenerate society we have, the more avenue is for a lot of people to make money. What if I tell you that you being a parent, the politicians, these organizations, these businesses, they're using your sorrow to make money. Your sorrow makes money. Okay? Why do you think we have a lot of cigarette, alcohol, drugs, everything you want to think about? Who do you think is fostering it? Because the more dysfunctional society we have, the more a lot of people are going to have money. A lot of people are going to make money. The more job opportunity is going to create. So no matter how we slide it, we are both responsible for this. Because many of you work in all those centers that pays your bills. And without those degenerate kids, you cannot pay your bills. You understand? This is why I said, we used to say something in Yoruba. You used to say, you're eating your own intestine in a different word. You're eating your own intestine, because the thing is that the problem is something that is closely reflected to you, but you'll be the one whinging online. Oh, these kids are just miserable kids. If those kids are not degenerating every day, if they're not fighting with guns and knife and all these things, you cannot have your own job. So start thinking, because I know thinking is so illegal for a lot of people to do. Think. All this crisis that we have everywhere in so-called Western world, all this youth crime, who is benefiting out of it? If all of a sudden, if there's no more youth crime, how many jobs that's going to take away? How many jobs do you think that is going to take away if suddenly there's no more youth crime? Because if the data shows that there's a lot of youth crime going on, And for some reason, there's more youth crime. The crime doesn't go away. It's still there. So which means that shit is benefiting someone. And who are those people? Okay? Who are those people? Now, let's go to the next point. I don't want to waste your time today. Now, whose fault is this? Like I said again, the parent. Bam. Start with you. You know, when you're doing a dance floor, or when you swipe on Tinder or whatever it is. Oh, baby, I'm going to make you feel good tonight. Ooh-wee. That is where the problem starts from. That is where the fault starts. You picked a monster to be the father of your child, or you picked a no good woman to be the mother of your child. How do you think she's going to raise it? If both of you separate, what do you think the outcome is going to be? You both don't have the same voice in terms of parenting. You make this monster now. Now, taxpayers' money need to go and take care of them. Or, in some cases, lock them up in a cage, like a dog or a chicken. That needs to be, that need to go through a rehab center. But that's what happened. Remember those places where they get locked up, a lot of people need to be paid to keep them organized, checked. So that they don't become the good citizen, because there's hardly few times they come out of those places. They integrate back into society and they're normal. Because do you know what isolation does over time? It messes with your head. There is hardly any kids that come out of those juvenile centers that come back to society that act right. Many of them end up committing the same crime that took them there. They'll go back there again. Now they'll go from juvenile center, they'll go to the big house. Then the cycle continues again. You understand? So if we're talking about fault, I don't even want to go to the kids' fault. You, the parent, you're number one. You. Yes, you that you're watching me. You. You start with you. All right? Because we live in a society whereby everything we hear every day, I need to get my money right. I need to get my money right. But you're not trying to decipher if you want to be a decent human being. So the next generation that you're going to bring into this world, you'll be a responsible individual. That is not the perspective. I need to get my money right. Need to get my money right. Not you being a decent human being. Who do you think the kids learn from? Who are their first teacher in life? You. You, yes, you. Yes, you. I know you want to flip the channel, but you, yes. You start with you. Because on the dance floor, oh, baby, I make you feel good tonight. Ooh, shit. That is where it starts from. Or when you're swiping at 3 o'clock in the morning, your dick is hard like a mother sucker, and you two, you're horny like a wet something. That is where it starts from. Now, this is one of those things that really pisses me off. Okay? There is this mentality that I hear quite often in this environment. Trauma. As an informed trauma individual myself, I don't like to talk or like to brag about it on social media. The word trauma is being misused so much, even trauma himself is traumatized. The word trauma in parenting is so misused, even the word trauma itself is traumatized of the word trauma. That is how crazy it is. Do you know what trauma is? Locking up a child in a juvenile center for 3, 4, 5 years, and you expect that child that's been isolated for doing some of the most despicable thing or some of the most minute thing, end up getting locked up, isolated. Do you know what it does to their head? But you discipline your child. You discipline your child. That is trauma. But when he goes to a jail, locked up, you call that a rehabilitation center. But you will rather wait. You won't discipline your kid. You will rather watch them end up in jail. Then you will say, now they traumatized. You prefer that kind of trauma rather than you whooping their ass, stopping them from ending up in jail in the first place. I know you can call me authoritarian. You can call me old school. Let me tell you something. You see, one of the things that is quite very important, I know we live in a society, I'm not going to put this only just on American culture. But in this world today, there is too much soft tissue parents. You're costing me a lot of money. You're costing me a lot of stress. The money that they should use to make my life better, they're busy spending it on your kids because you're a shit parent. Yes. Does it hurt? Yeah, it hurts. Because the thing is that, let's say exactly what needs to be said. Here in Australia, there is a lot of parents that they're not parenting at all. Every little thing, you point the fingers at the government. Oh, the government needs to do it. The government needs to do what? Was the government there when you're busting the nut? Pause. Was government there when you're 69 yourself into pregnancy? Was the government there when you're holding something and was the government there? Was the government there when you're giving him lollipop at the back of the alley? Was the government there? And this is one of those stupid things that we live in a world today that we can't wait to pass on excuses why something is going bad. We can't wait. And the other thing again that I need to type in before I forget is all this organization that gets money. I want you to at any kind of organization, especially here in Australia or any other part of the world that you are. And I want to look into the camera when I say this. You see, all this organization that gets money for the sake of youth, especially in Australia, I want somebody to at any organization. Many of you ain't shit. Many of you, you're just liars, scammers, using the pain of the community to enrich yourself. Many of you, you are criminals yourself. You go around using the name of the struggling youth. You use it to go and get funds from the government, but you don't do shit. Because for some reason, there is no checks and balances. How come you go and get money to help the youth, but you can't give us any kind of data? We don't know where your offices are. We don't know how many people you helped in a week. We don't know the kind of challenges you face that we can even add more to the society. No. We don't know who the minister of any minister is. The kids are struggling. The only thing they want to do in Australia here that I've come to find out is that they'll create a camp, go and play basketball, make a barbecue. So people, eat chicken, eat barbecue. Before I work for this organization, we work for the government, and we collaborate with the government, and we're looking for funding. And youths, please don't commit any crime. You think that's gonna fix the problem? Many of these organizations, they get government grants in millions. Checks and balances. How many kids have you helped this month? I'm telling you, the whole thing it's not an oversight. It needs to be completely put aside. Checks and balances. Many of you get 10 million, 5 million, 8 million to fix youth problem in Melbourne. I ain't see shit. You go there, you're doing the same thing every other person is doing because there's so much fucking nepotism that goes around in that environment. All this organization that gets money from the government, you are part of the problem too. You are part of the problem. Because you're doing what the system does. You use the struggle of the community, you will use it to enrich yourself because that's how you make money. That's how you pay your bills. That's how you buy those houses. You live in Africa. Many of you marry 3-4 wives. You live them everywhere in Africa. Then you come here again. You start pretending like you give a shit about the youth. You don't give a shit about the youth. Let me ask you a question. Do people really understand? Who do you think this youth, this generation, this Gen Z and the Gen Alpha, who do you think they look up to as leadership? Do you think they look at doctors as one day I want to be a doctor? You think many of them want to be a lawyer? No. The new trend is that they want to be content creators. People like me are more influential than doctors and lawyers today. Let me say it again. An online streamer is more looked up on today than a doctor or lawyer. I know we live in a time whereby I love all these people. You don't want to face the fact. Parenting is like once you're out, once you're 18, go and deal with your shit by yourself. I didn't give you shit. And that is why we're feeling the pain that we're feeling today. Gunfight there, criminal fight there, machete fight there, all these things. All these things is taking resources where it needs to go. And then you turn around, you say, yeah, the government. What the fuck do you want the government to do? The only thing the government can do is say, okay, all right, you have all this problem. How much do you need to get the right people to help you? We'll give you money, all right? Money? Now, when government gives money, that's it. They'll come back again next year with the same old bullshit. Then you're wondering why the society is how it is. Checks and balances. All this... I've learned of finding out here in Melbourne here. Do you know there's about 50 different organizations that get government funding to so-called help the community? And out of all of them, I don't even know one. I've contacted all of them to talk to them, to have a podcast like this, to actually have a conversation with them. Is that what is going on? What are you guys encountering that we in the public, we in the community does not even know about? Not one respond my request. Not one. Sometimes I'll call them, the phone is going to ring once, twice, they just hang up. I want to ask questions, checks and balances. These are part of the problem. Parents, number one. All this organization that get all this funding from the government. Number two. The last one is the kids themselves. Hey, Gen Alphas and some Gen Zs. All right? You see, I am your favorite brother because I'm not old yet. You Marasoka, if you say I'm uncle, I ain't your uncle. Screw that. I'm just as young as you are. You see, let me tell you something. If you have any sibling, uncle, relative, a family, or somebody that you see outside, there is a lot to life than all this shallow shit you guys chase around. And unfortunately, again, social media hasn't make it very easy too. All right? Because you want to fly private jet. You want Lamborghini. You want to live all this life. You want to chase them bitches. Today's world is that you sell your soul to make money. At the immediate time, you can get all the fancy shit you want. But you will find out later in life that you're going to lose yourself. And once you lose yourself, you'll never be able to get it back. You will resort to all kind of addiction. You will resort to all kind of medication. You will resort to all sort of things that you think is going to take the edge away. The edge is never going to go away. And unfortunately, we live at a time whereby social media influencers are the guys that everybody look up to be something. When I grew up, it was, you better come home with distinction. Is it that you're a lawyer, a doctor, or an engineer? Anything outside that, your parents don't even want to hear you. They don't even want to see you. If you sneeze, they say, you're a failure. You can never make it. Yeah. That's how I grew up. You want to know the kind of pressure we felt going to school? I'm telling you, if you even get a C, you have some fucking explanation to make. That, many of you here, you're all soft tissues. This is why another thing again, parents, you need to understand. Many of you, your suffering hasn't started yet. Your suffering is going to kick back because later down the line, all these kids, they're going to crash out on you like a mother sucker. Because we live in a society whereby everything is very pampered. Don't touch them. Whoop their ass. Yes. There's two kind of parenting that works. Okay? There is mother cuddle and the disciplinarian. If you don't combine those both, you're going to make no shit of a child. Because your kids is never going to be normal. There has to be a fundamental appropriate fear at home. There has to be an appropriate fear of consequences of behavior and actions. If there is not, you are just creating a monster later down the road that we need to create resources for. We live in a world whereby it's just ample of sort of disrespect that we go through every day. Because many of you want to do this. No, I don't want to touch my kids. Let them whoop their ass. If there is no appropriate fear in the life of a child, you are going to regret it like a mother sucker. I'm telling you now. You might not like this conversation, but I'm keeping it 100 with you. The fact is, many of you, the kids, you just give them what. Do you know what trauma? Trauma is them getting locked up. Trauma is them getting stabbed. Trauma is them getting unalived. That is trauma. If you don't discipline your kid right from get-go, you are just creating a monster that society will have to deal with later in the future because of your soft parenting. All right, let's go again. One of my points, before I forget. I know, like I said, if you don't whoop their ass, beat them. Not, listen, when I was going back home, I'm telling you, go and find a Nigerian and ask them that what is abara. Okay? Abara. Go and ask them what does abara means. Attitude adjustment. If you receive one abara, this is how abara works. You did something fucked up, you did something messed up. Your mom will call you, say, come. You're crying, man. Say, come. I'm not going to beat you. Come. You come. You see, she will put your head where you came from. You should understand that. She will put your head where you came from. So your back will be set like this. They will usually remove your clothes. Boom! I'm telling you, you will be reset. It's like when an iPhone updates their software, everything needs to switch off for it to come back again. You will switch off. That switch off, you're not sitting down. You're running 20 kilometers. You're running back. You're trying to touch it. You cannot touch it. All these, you're still swallowing that force. Yeah. It's called attitude adjustment. I'm telling you, if they give you just one, all that shenanigan you're doing, you'll be quiet in a minute. That is just how it is growing up. And I promise you, it's in most cases, there are very different situations. You find that a Nigerian kid living with their parents misbehaving. We have another option. We say, hey, let's go see Mama in Africa. Yeah. They've already done Mama this wink. Yeah, you're coming to visit Mama. You go there, you stay there. Yeah. Oh, you damn skippy. Oh, and don't get it twisted. You think Mama is old. Oh, you fooling yourself. It doesn't matter how big you are. Mama will whoop the shit out of you. You understand? She will whoop the shit out of you. They don't tolerate nonsense behavior that I see here sometimes. I just look at some kids. I'm like, man, let me tell you a true life story. I ain't bullshitting. This happened to me. This is the story. And let me know, was I traumatized? I get back from school one day. Then we used to play street football because that's how I started learning how to play football. I never went to no damn football academy. I learned how to play the game from the street. So one day, I got back from school. And mom telling me to go to the other side of the street to go and blend chili. Because, we don't have blenders like you guys do now that we, there's blenders now. But back then, there was no blender. There was blender, but it was expensive. You have to be rich for you to have blender at home. And I wasn't rich. My parents weren't rich like that. So I need to go to the other street for me to go blend the chili. So on the middle of the street, I found my friends kicking it. I said, let me take off my shirt, man. I was kicking it. Mom was at home busy waiting for me to bring chili at home. Ladies and gentlemen, I was there for about 2 hours. My father came back from work and they found out that I wasn't at home. And asked my mom, where did I go? She said, I asked him to go and blend chili for 2 hours and I can't even cook the food. Oh, shit. Woo-wee. Let me tell you what happened. I just suddenly saw somebody just pull my ear like this while I was standing waiting for a pass. I saw the turnaround. I could smell his cologne. I said, I'm fucked. It dragged me home. Took the chili from me. This is me. Took me home. They told me to strip naked. Let me traumatize you. This happened to me. This is not a third knowledge, second knowledge. Happened to me. My father whooped my ass butt naked. Whooped my ass with every cane. Long cane. There's about 3 or 4 then. He whooped me mercilessly. You would think I was slave from Django. He whooped the shit out of me. My nuts were swollen like this. I couldn't go to school for 2 weeks. You say that is trauma. Where I come from, that is called discipline. I ain't lying. I have family members that can testify to it. I couldn't even walk. My ass was so swollen, I could not sit down. That is how crazy it was. Ask me again. Did I ever did that again? You bet not. No, hell no. They tell me, go and do something. You better be home. You damn skippy. I can't wait to finish that thing and run back home. I never forget, because pain will remind you of what not to do. Look at the society we live in today. How many people have hit their head on the wall a couple of times? Ever since then, they start watching. Oof, let me be careful. I don't want to hit my head on the wall. Pain will remind you of what not to do. Okay? If a kid doesn't have appropriate discipline, if there's not somebody at home that is going to physically fear and a voice, a sense of authority at home, your kids will misbehave. No matter how you want to pamper it, because the thing is that they might not disrespect you. I promise you, they will disrespect a stranger. And one of the worst things that you want, that you don't want to happen to you as a parent, is for your kid to be disciplined by a stranger. Because in Africa, it's an open season. You understand? You fucked up in Africa. You don't have the. Nah. Have you seen when people from outside will whoop you till you get home? When you get home, then your parents will not. What? They'll whoop the shit out of you. That is why, in most cases in this world, you will find most Africans are well behaved. That is a fact. Do we have some really no good ones? Yes. But in majority of the times, Africans, especially those who come from those authoritarian home, because we live in this soft tissue world that, hey, don't beat your kids, it's trauma. No, the trauma is, I don't want my child to go and traumatize another person. Because in society today, there's always think that, oh, the kids' trauma is happening to them. What about if you don't raise your kids well? Do you think they're going to go traumatize another person? I think it was last year, there was a situation whereby there were a group of kids ran into a place. They unalived a 93-year-old woman because they pushed her down. This is a young kid here in Australia. If you think I'm lying, go and Google it. Because you guys will complain, I don't want to traumatize your kids. But your kids that you don't raise well, they will go and traumatize other people. Where is the empathy for those people? Where is the empathy for those family of the people that your kids are traumatizing every day? You don't want to discipline them, but your kids can go outside and commit a lot of crime and destroy a lot of lives. You're more worried about your kids. What about those people that your kids are traumatizing every day? What about those people? Are those aliens? Bring back ass whooping. Yes, I said it. Get mad all you want. I don't give a shit. Bring back ass whooping. There has to be an appropriate fear in a child's life, because without that, that is where balance is. Everybody knows. Sometimes mama will call you. In some homes, it's the moms that you need to be scared of, not the father. Some homes, the mom will whoop the shit out of you. It's the father that will drag you away. Say, the father will be the one telling you, don't provoke mom again. But yeah, because I live in so-called Western society. Don't traumatize the kid. You're going to traumatize them. No, I would rather traumatize them rather than for them to go out there and traumatize another person that hasn't done nothing to them. All of us, we have to wear this cap. It is just not one addressed to just one particular person. Every one of us, we need to be held accountable. That is when we're really talking about solution. The solution start right the day that you started busting the nut. That's where it starts from. Not pointing fingers at somebody else. The kids are, I don't, when you touch the kids. No, whoop their ass. It's just that simple. Whoop their ass. There's no ifs or buts about it. Because when these kids grow up, they become the monster in the street that the taxpayers' money will have to go and help them. The resources need to go into them. Then it's going to be a crisis. If somebody is even alive, it's good. You understand? This is another excuse that I hear quite often. All right? Because I hear what Tony said, that you can't discipline a child these days because they will call the police on your ass. I'd rather let them call police on me that I whoop their ass, rather for the police to call me that they kill somebody. Which one is better? For me, that's an excuse that I'm getting that a lot of people always see every time, especially within the African community. Oh, you cannot discipline, they'll call police. I'd rather let them call police on me, rather than police calling me, telling me that they kill somebody, telling me that they go and rob a place, telling me that my kids are going to jail. Which one is better? Tony, that's the excuses that I hear constantly. They'll call police on you. Which kid? If you raise your kid, if you put that fear in them right from get-go, do you think they even have the gumption for them to think about calling the police? I don't want us to make that as an excuse. This is an extreme situation that requires a whole new extreme kind of resources to deal with it. The fear of them calling the police on you shouldn't deteriorate say that, you should whoop their ass. It's just that simple. We all collectively, we all play part in all of this. From the government, last one too is the government. Government, you too, you just hand money to anybody that you just think because we're from the African community, want to help. That is not how it works. Where is the checks and balances? All the money that the government allocate every year, where is the checks and balances? Show us. How many people have they helped? How many people is in the system? How come all this information is not public knowledge? Even though when you search online, you cannot find it. Everything is hid under a cryptic email after a cryptic website. It's like you have to dig. This should be public knowledge. And one other thing again that I need to tap into that I think it's actually very important. And I've said this many times on my live streams, and you're not going to like this. If you're an African, if you're having some youth crisis, whatever part of the so-called Western society they live in, have you ever heard the terms, you're guilty until proven innocent? Like I said the other day, everything that is black in this world is bad. That is how it's been looked on. From Asia to the Middle East to West. Even some places in Africa is the same. Everything that is black is bad. That is how the world sees it. So this victim mentality, the media, what the fuck do you expect the media to do? What do you want them to do? There has to be a guilty party. Somebody needs to be held accountable. And who is one person on the planet of this earth that they can't wait to point fingers at? Is the black community. Everything that is wrong. Cost of living is that. Blame the immigrant. There's too much crime in society. Blame the immigrant. Someone said there's no checks and balances in Washington. Bro, there's no checks and balances anywhere. There is no any government organization in this world that is functioning that you can really say checks and balances. I don't even want to talk about Australia just yet now, because very soon I'm going to start talking about it. Because if I start sharing a lot of things for you guys, you'll blow your mind. There is no checks and balances anywhere. It's like you're just covering bandage with situation that actually, if you truly want to fix this world, I swear to God, this is how crazy it is. This is my perspective. And you can disagree with me. I don't mind. To fix the problem that we have in this world, it's not difficult at all. It's never been. I think sometimes we just want to reaffirm a lot of old stereotypes on how we look at things because we don't want to introduce new concepts and new ideas. It's called delegation of responsibility. For instance, you can be a manager of a business, of a company. A manager is a title that comes with a responsibility. In this world today, we focus so much about the title, not the responsibility that comes with the title. It's the same thing. There's too much emphasis on the title, not the responsibility. The problem we have in this world that there is so much lack of leadership. I mean, genuine leadership with integrity and morality. Because if there's integrity and morality in leadership, any and all problem will be addressed because there are people there who give shit more about their responsibility, not their title. Huh? Yes, I'm Walla on the Pro Max. Absolutely. There are people who give shit more about the responsibility, not the title that comes with the responsibility. Oh, I'm a president. Oh, I'm a manager. You're a manager of what? You ain't managing nothing. Your responsibility is floundering all over the places. But every time you come on, you want to remind us, I'm the secretary. What? You're secretary of nothing. Because the checks and balances we don't have in this world, it comes because it's a misplaced priorities by those we call the leaders. You give money to all these organizations. You just give them money. You expect them to do the right thing. You don't follow up with them. You don't check with them to try and figure out exactly if they're doing the right thing or not. Then wonder that, these kids, there's so much crime. And Africans, here in Australia, and I'll say it again for the 1 billion time. There is this notion in many of your head because you think you have an Australian passport. You think now you should be seen as you're an Australian citizen. You're a fool. You're a serious fool. If you think that the Western society is going to see you as an Australian because you have an Australian citizen on a passport, you're a fool. And one of the things that I'm going to say here that this might not be comfortable for you is that when was the time I've ever seen any African community actually collaborate together and share knowledge within ourselves? We are the most divided group of people on the planet of this earth. Oh, he's Nigerian. Nah, I don't deal with Nigerians. Oh, he's Kenyan. I don't deal with Kenyans. Oh, it's this and that. Even the leaders are doing it in Africa. You wonder why those behaviors were being originated from? From back where we come from. Because we all brought that mentality here. Why should I do business with another African? I don't trust Africans, and this and that. I'd rather go do a business with a Chinese man or Japanese man. When the Japanese man will take that money from me, he will go and reinvest it back in his country. Then they'll start passing on knowledge. Then we'll become consumer. Then become the business owners. It's the same thing when we can't raise good kids together because you're too ignorant and you want to stock up in your whole stupid African ways that you should go and learn from another African culture. It's the same thing. Because I'm an Australian citizen. I have my Australian citizen. You think the Western media, they're going to look at you like you're the same? Are you stupid? That's going to be a conversation I'm going to have again. Because I'm going to call this bullshit out. I see a lot of you. Yeah. You can't wait. I'm an Australian citizen. Yeah, right. On paper. You commit a crime, you will see how quickly you're a black African. You will see. Let's move on. Last point. Last one. I'm going to leave this question with you. Are you a good parent? Do you think you're a good parent? Are you raising a good child? So these are the conversations you need to ask yourself. You understand? They are still fighting to get together. Yeah. Are you a good parent? Because that's some of the things that are realistically, some people need to look inward themselves. Are you a good parent? Could you have been a good parent? You understand? Like I said, every parent in this world, it starts with one simple thing. You know, the mating dance. Oh, baby, I like you. Oh, you look good. Oh, you're sexy. Oh, yeah. You bust the nut, you make the babies, but there's no preparation on how you're going to raise the kid because everything inside of you is not even apparent. You're not raised right yourself. How do you expect to raise good kids? What example do you have? So, food for thought. Now, if you enjoyed this rant, thank you very much. I want to say thank you to those who subscribe. And if you haven't subscribed, what are you doing with your finger? Finger the button there and click the subscribe button. If you don't click the subscribe button, I will tell Trump and Iran to come and knock your door. Click the subscribe button. Don't be stingy with your fingers. If you watch it later, click the follow button before you watch it. Or else, I'll tell that guy that went to, allegedly, ran into the party. I'll tell him to come and knock your door. Like I always say, thinking is not illegal, but we still have a lot of people that they're allergic to thinking. They don't want to think. And one other thing again, if you see the PayPal thing over there, that PayPal, subscribe to it. All right, donate. because we need to do a lot of things, good things here. And click this follow. If you don't, I'm telling you, if you don't click the follow button, I'll swear for you. Like I always say, thinking is not illegal, but you can pay me. Pay me there, PayPal.